Salvador Dali was a 20th century artist from Spain who acted as one of the main and most famous proponents of the Surrealist movement. Some of the most famous pieces he has created include artworks such as The Persistence of Memory, The Burning Giraffe, and The Metamorphosis of Narcissus. Salvador Dali was born May 11, 1904, in a town known as Figueres, located within the region of Catalonia, found in the northeastern part of Spain. Young Dali and his family of four spent many summers traveling to the beaches of their summer home in the town of Cadaqués, where Dali found inspiration for many of his paintings in the town's picturesque scenery. Dali's interest in art began at a young age, with Dali holding his first art exhibition in his family's apartment when he was only 13 years old. In 1922, Dali moved to Madrid and began school at the San Fernando Academy of Fine Art. He was discontent with the education he received here, however, and instead preferred to visit the Prado, one of Spain's largest art museums, where he observed the works of great artists such as Diego Velázquez and Francisco de Goya. During his enrollment at the institution, he met friends Federico Garcia Lorca and Luis Buñuel, who would influence much of Dali's life and work in the future. In 1923, a dictatorship took over governance of Spain. Dali's father, who was opposed to the new regime's rule, paid the price when they imprisoned Salvador for a month due to his father's dissent. In 1925, Dali would have his first solo art exhibition at the Dalmau Gallery, one of Barcelona's most prestigious art galleries. In 1926, Dali decided to travel to Paris, where he would visit esteemed artists and fanatics of his work, Pablo Picasso and Juan Miró. Shortly after his return to Spain, Dali would complete A Woman at the Window sewing in Figueres, which showed his sister Ana Maria at work lace-making. Despite his accomplishments in art up to this point, Dali would be expelled from the San Fernando Academy in 1926 for refusal to finish final examinations due to his belief that he was more qualified in the field than his examiners. In the late 1920s, Dali began to embrace the styles and ideals of the Surrealist movement, to the point where he began work in Paris with his friend Luis Buñuel to create the film Un Chien Andalou, or An Andalusian Dog. With the release and positive reception of Un Chien Andalou, Dali became one of the most important members of the Surrealist movement. Later that year, in the summer of 1929, Dali would meet his future wife, Gala Eluard, who was at the time married to Surrealist poet Paul Eluard. After the revelation of their affair, Dali was barred from the family home in Figueres by his father. In 1930, Dali and Gala relocated to a cottage in Port Llegat, just a short distance from Caracas, Dali's favorite retreat. It is at this cottage that Dali created some of his most iconic paintings, such as The Persistence of Memory. In 1934, Dali and Gala were married and soon traveled to Britain for his first solo art exhibition in the country. However, while Dali pursued his endeavors in art, all was not well back home. A civil war was brewing, and with it, casualties were beginning to amount, with Dali's close friend Federico Garcia Lorca falling victim to the violence. It is during this time that Dali created Autumn Cannibalism in response to the emerging horrors of war back home. In 1936, Salvador Dali appeared on the front cover of Time magazine, which served as a testament to the popularity of Dali and his work worldwide. Dali would also make an appearance at the International Surrealists exhibition being held in London, where he was the pinnacle of attention while dressed in a diving suit. It is during this time that Dali also began his endeavors in furniture design, with some of his popular items being the lobster telephone and his pink-lipped sofa. In 1938, Dali visited London once more to meet with famed neurologist Sigmund Freud. During their meeting, Dali drew many sketches of Freud and also unveiled to him one of his most recent paintings, The Metamorphosis of Narcissus. In 1939, Dali was expelled from a surrealist group led by Andre Breton for suspicion of being a supporter of the fascist politician Adolf Hitler. In an effort to escape the encroaching war that would envelop mainland Europe, Dali and Gala fled their residence in France to find refuge in the United States. It was at this time that Dali created the Enigma of Hitler, which embodied much of the worry and gloom that was prevalent during this time. In 1942, Dali published his autobiography, The Secret Life of Salvador Dali, where Dali talks about the experiences he's endured throughout his life, albeit with a bit of fabrication. In 1945, Dali worked with Alfred Hitchcock on his latest Hollywood film, Spellbound. With Dali's help, Hitchcock ensured the set would appear dreamlike to match the theme of the film. In 1949, Dali and Gala returned to Europe, where they split their time traveling continuously between Port-Yagat, Paris, and New York. In the 1950s, Dali began to embrace religion and traveled to Vatican City, where he would meet the Pope. It is during this time he would complete another one of his artworks, Christ of St. John of the Cross. In 1964, Dali published his second autobiography, Diary of a Genius. In 1974, the mayor of Dali's hometown of Figueres asked Salvador if he could donate one of his artworks to the local museum. Dali refused his request and instead built a brand new theater museum for the people of Figueres. In 1982, Gala passed away at the age of 87. Dali could not cope with the loss of his muse and beloved wife, and so he fell gravely ill. He finished his final painting, The Swallow's Tail, shortly after his wife's passing in 1983. He spent the remainder of his years in seclusion until 1989, when he passed away. He was laid to rest under the theater museum he had built in Figueres.